And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
DeLeone and Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today, we are going to be chatting about 3 players that are not at OTAs. If we think that we should be worried, not worried, reading the temperature on those. Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, and James Cook. We're also going to get to what has been a very fun story to track. A man who had a bad first date because he wanted to ride a mechanical bull. Sean, before we get there, can you share with our listeners a quick word from BetOnline?
Oh, you mean share a word with our listeners about the place where I won a bunch of GD money last night? The place where I decided a 3-leg parlay on the Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 40-plus points, rebounds, assists, and thank you very much for the win, sir. Making my pockets nice and full for this post-MDW Tuesday. Welcome back, jackasses. Welcome to the real world again. We're back to sports betting and watching the playoffs. That's where we're at. We know we got golf running through. MLB ain't going nowhere all summer. NHL's coming down to the wire. You got your UFC. You got all the sports that you need. So whichever one tickles your fancy, head to BetOnline. And in between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games. That includes poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
All right.
Oh, must have ran short.
Yeah, you did. I was doing my tweet to let everybody know to
I tried to keep it kind of professional and tight today instead of going all over the place.
You swerved off on the exit and then you slammed on the brakes. I wasn't ready for it. Wasn't ready. I went through the windshield.
I didn't want to
through the windshield.
I don't like bragging about hitting such sizable bets at BetOnline.
Well, we know that you're a gifted sports bettor, so feel free to, of course. Bragg, what's that?
We already have a question. I'm
so
so excited about this. Can you ask Joe his scouting report on Sean Dolak? I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Sean Dolak is?
Let me.
Okay, we're gonna get to the OTA stuff. He was a linebacker from Buffalo this past year. Led the country in tackles. He had insane stats. A bunch of people who didn't watch him were doing the bit of, how do you not have him in your top 5 linebackers in this draft? Because he had a ridiculous amount of tackles. He also tested kind of well at his pro day. One of the most stiff white linebackers I've ever watched.
I'm watching him now.
I watched him for 10 minutes, which is like a small percentage of the amount of time that I dedicate to breaking down a prospect. And I said, nope, I'm not doing this. People can berate me all they want. This guy's not playing in the NFL. And he went undrafted. People were trying to convince themselves he was an early day 3 pick, or maybe earlier than that, because he tested well and had a bunch of tackles on his stat sheet. Not a good football player. People don't understand how to separate the two. It's the most frustrating thing when it comes to analyzing and breaking down prospects. People don't know how to separate stats and some good testing numbers.
It looks like he's with the Rams.
He is with the Rams, so Sean...
Of course, he's going to be... You know what? That's going to bite you in the ass because, underwhelming white linebackers that are a little bit slow that test okay, though,
he ain't gonna
do well there.
He's not going to start.
Did you think Christian Roseboom was going to start there?
Christian Roseboom is a better linebacker than Sean Dolak is.
I would agree. I also just saw Sean Dolak get run over at the 1-yard line. And that's not on your highlight tape, man.
Ryan, Jake Fire is a better linebacker than Sean
Dolak.
Second
that notion. Jake Fire rules.
If Jake Fire was 6 foot, he might have made it to the NFL, but he was 5'8.5". No, you don't think so? Mm-mm. He was fast. He
Jake Fire
time. He ran the 4.7s.
Jake Fire gave me one of the hardest under helmet pops I ever received in my football career.
But he was 5'8.5".
An NFL player with that open shot at my big lumbering ass knocks me out cold on the grass.
Yeah, but he was 5'8.5". He's not. He was smaller than me. You thought that he wasn't.
I'd like to see you guys go back to back.
He was smaller than me.
I'm not saying you're small. I thought Fire was bigger. I'd like to see you guys go
Fire
back to
was
back.
stronger than I was. He was more muscular than I was.
He was
He was shorter than me. He was definitely shorter than me.
trying to remember now.
Don't do this.
I'm just trying. I'm not trying. I'm
I
not
stood
trying
next
to work
to the
you up
guy
here.
every single day. We were at the same rack in the weight room every off-season workout. You telling me
I was
that he was,
too. What are you talking
No,
about?
you got
I was
moved. You
right
got
there.
moved over eventually.
I got yelled at. Said, "Hey, get away from them. You're not. They've diseased
Yeah,
you
you
for
were
long
you were
enough."
you were a bad influence on us.
Oh,
we
I'm
were trying to
sure.
get some work done. You were just being fat in the corner.
Oh, here's Joe's work getting done. Oh, hey, get the bar off of me.
Oh, stop. Okay.
Get it off of me.
All right.
It exploded off my
Oh,
chest.
now you're just being
Get
mean.
the bar off of
no,
me.
no. Now you're just
Hey,
being
Sean,
mean.
this is your fault. This is all your fault.
You weren't there to. You weren't even one of the people who pulled the bar. Okay, now you're just being mean. I'm not sitting here making fun of your tricep elbow injury from cranking it too hard.
Cartilage defect.
Whatever the hell that means.
No, that was from working out at max weight for 3 straight years because the working sets I was supposed to be using with the other offensive linemen, it would have taken too long to clear all the plates and put them back on just for
that
my
makes a
5
lot of
reps.
sense.
So I worked at literally my max for 3 straight years.
All right, well, we're not here to recount workouts. You can fuck off. Not even. You're just trying to piss me off.
I'm doing
6 minutes into the show.
Look,
I mean,
someone's
you
got to
talk
laugh on
football.
this show.
Well, I hope that this angers and upsets you. Kirk Cousins has not been participating at OTAs. He was not present. Apparently, and this isn't shocking, he's seeking a trade. He's trying to get traded. It's something that we've talked about multiple times on this show. Since he was benched for Michael Penix, it makes no sense for Kirk Cousins to stay in Atlanta. Now, the interesting thing is Raheem Morris said in March, I don't think he's going to be there, referring to Kirk Cousins. If he is, we'll welcome him with open arms, but I'm not going to be foolish enough to get myself worked up and angry about Kirk Cousins missing voluntary workouts. Hence why this isn't really a headline, except for the headline creators like ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to get traded?
I do think he will get traded. I think Kirk Cousins is out in Atlanta, and it will not be because he threw a temper tantrum. It will be because they are trading him at a discounted price once his, cut trade whatever number gets significantly reduced in June. It's just that's going to be the day, and we see what happens with Kirk Cousins. Right now, it's fun playing the game. I have loved this era of Kirk Cousins so much. Show up to OTAs, don't show up, Kirk, because in the back of my mind, you know what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about week 1, Kirk holding a Gatorade, holding another one, giving one to Michael Penix Jr., and then keeping his helmet off while MPJ takes a swig, goes in the game,
Okay, he's not
and throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. But that's where I'm at, fandom-wise with Kirk. That's unrealistic. He's not going to be on the team. There are teams that are, 1, savvy enough, and 2, desperate enough to make a big play for Kirk Cousins, even though it would take a hefty overpayment given how monstrous his contract was. Someone will bite. They will eventually bite because he is good enough to be the 32nd starting quarterback in the league, no matter how the rosters shake out. Right now, this year, another year removed from his Achilles injury, more time to recover from the shoulder injury in week 10. He can be healthy enough to be a winning quarterback in this league. He's just not good enough to beat out the second year that they have in Atlanta. So some team will say, our season's done. Our quarterback just got injured. Let's pay for Kirk Cousins, save the season. That wouldn't surprise me. But no one's going to be desperate, on the phone. I need this guy. I need this guy.
Well, I would argue that there is one team specifically that is extremely desperate that needs Kirk, and that's the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
I know that there's the constant hope, and it sounds I'm just going to push past Kirk because
that's fine. Should be operating again.
All right.
Pardon the disturbance, everybody.
Well, credit to us. We've gone this long without any technical difficulties. Credit to our producing backgrounds that we've made it this far. We've done a shitload of shows. First time we've had an issue, which I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked that we've gone this long without completely screwing up the setup. We were being heard at the beginning of the show, so we were completely fine.
Okay,
we're good
Jesus
now.
Christ.
All right, we're gonna move past. We're gonna move past Kirk because I'm not gonna re-pick up that talking point. I think that this one is a lot juicier, and I would really love to get your perspective on it.
This one is the one I didn't want to get to.
Kyle Pitts. He was absent from OTAs. There apparently, at the current moment, there's not a lot of clarity. No one wants to pinpoint this purely as, hey, he's pissed off about his contract situation. They picked up his 5th-year option. He is up for a new contract. They need to work that out. Feels kind of early that they're expecting that some sort of a deal is supposed to be in the works.
It feels like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I'm not going to completely think that this is all contract related. But do you, the Falcons fan, do you think that Kyle Pitts should be earning top tight end money? Do you think that the Falcons are going to give him a long-term extension to keep him in Atlanta?
No and yes. No, he should not be earning top tight end money at this point. He has not shown a standard baseline of progression for 4 years in the NFL that would warrant you to be paid at the top 5 of your position, Kyle Pitts, tight end. Honestly, he was lucky to have the 5th-year option picked up. And so was Atlanta fans, because I am still looking at him like a budding flower now that he doesn't have Marcus Mariota or Taylor Heineke or Desmond Ritter or Kirk Cousins throwing him the rock. Like, I am seeing that now.
Felipe Franks.
Felipe's different.
R.I.P. Felipe.
I would love
Is
this.
he still on the Falcons?
He got re-signed.
Oh, let's go.
He had 1 catch last year
Let's go.
in week 15, and it was against Atlanta. And it was for like a 3rd down conversion, and they signed his ass back.
Original Joe Milton.
I love
the original Joe Milton.
I love Felipe Franks.
Okay.
But now that Kyle Pitts doesn't have a bag of garbage quarterback thrown him the ball, I think Atlanta says, fine, we will take the shot on you. We will extend you another year. 5th-year option. It's still decently cheap for a 4th overall pick of a tight end, but it's still decently cheap. It's not big tight end money. He has not earned it. He's had 1 good year. That was his rookie year. Since then, it's been injury. Year 3 was disappointment. Year 4 was disappear in some games, but some games when you get him involved at the beginning of drives, which is what Atlanta needs to do more, is get linebackers keying in on him so they're not keying in on wide receivers as much in their zone coverages. That is way into the weeds of it. Just to say that he was too inconsistent last year, game to game, for me to think that they should have broken out the Brinks truck for him and given him a bunch of money as a top paid tight end when everyone has concerns. I have concerns. You have concerns. The entire football watching public is waiting on this guy to boom. And if he had gotten paid pre-boom after a blip on the radar rookie year and then 3 years of basically radio silence, it would not have gone over well. So eventually after this year, I think if he gets like 900 yards, he will get re-signed, and I'll be happy about it. I like him. I do like him as a player. I like him as a I think he's a good dude. I think he's good for the team, and he's not a headache. I love that, but he is not top tight end money.
I think that this whole situation is extremely messy because the reality that you sit in is if Kyle Pitts is not attending OTAs and if there is some sort of a sit-out period, which I don't know if it would really go that far. I think he's just maybe trying to send a little bit of a message here with the uncertainty. If it comes down to that, the Falcons have no right to give Kyle Pitts anything more than what he's looking for. Like, they should not give him an extension. He's not done anything to this point. He had a tremendous rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Everything after that has either been riddled with injuries, inconsistency, all the things that you just highlighted. But the problem is that he's extremely physically gifted.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of like premier tight ends in the NFL. If he plays to his potential with a realistically better offensive situation and Arthur Smith not completely misusing him as an inline blocker, and you're actually getting Michael Penix, the gunslinger, whipping him the ball and trying to find him in the end zone and attacking deep downfield. All the things that you kind of saw in the last few games.
Yeah.
If Kyle Pitts plays to his potential, you're going to have to franchise tag him. Like, why wouldn't he feel disenfranchised by the fact that the Falcons did not extend him when they had the chance to and not go and test free agency? Like, I feel like he'd be out the door. I feel like he'd be saying, all right, cool, man, you guys want me to come back, but let me see what's available on the market. If you don't extend him right now with something, he could test free agency.
There's a lot of things in the works here because he's also only 24 years old. So he's not near his prime, even though he's already suffered an ACL injury. 3 more years from now when he's 27, that'll be ancient history. So there's a lot of meat on that bone, but he's gone 2 back-to-back years, 600 yards. He had 6 less catches this year than the year prior, which was a Desmond Ridder-led offense. He had 1 more touchdown this year. He's just not that dude. If he was Sam Laporta, I would have said pay him anything, pay him every. If he showed me 8 games last year where he looked like Sam Laporta, it wouldn't even be a question to me. But he probably had 3 games of that, and he had 14 games where it's blowout loss and he gets a bunch of garbage time numbers, which happens, and it happens often. You want to get the guy on the stat sheet, get him involved at the end of the game where you're getting blown out. That happened plenty last year. So when it's a big crunch time moment for this dude, they either don't feed him, he doesn't get open, or he makes a fine catch and they go to Drake London or Darnell Mooney. So he has not established himself also as the number 1 target in this, or the number 1 option in this offense. Why are you paying him so much money for that then? And I wouldn't. If he takes a step this year and is a true 1 or 2, and then Darnell Mooney or Bijan, it comes in at 3. Bijan obviously different with the run game, but in the receiving option, he's getting out-targeted by Bijan. He's getting more focus put on Bijan than Kyle Pitts, your 4th overall pick tight end. That is super gifted. Can't have it.
Wait, I'm very confused. What was that last part that you got?
I have no idea what you're getting at. That he needs to surpass Bijan and Darnell Mooney in the offense, in the passing offense when it comes this year. If he really wants to get paid, he cannot be the 3rd option or 4th option, which he has been.
I think to his defense, where it's very easy to ignore with Kyle Pitts is that, like, as you talked about, he had a lot of shitty situations. He had a lot of bad quarterbacks who were throwing him the ball. Mm-hmm. Him having the 1,000 yards he did as a rookie was astounding with all the mess that he was going through. Arthur Smith wasted the first 3 years of his career trying to use him in the most obnoxious, idiotic way possible, forcing him to be an inline tight end when he wasn't one. Like, trying to get him to play something that he wasn't going to be good at when he just needed to be a big slot and go out there and just dominate.
It's easy.
And be a big-bodied slot receiver. This year, we saw some spurts of it. We kind of started to get that, like, taste of, like, what he could have been. But Kirk, being a shell of himself, took the air out of the possibility of this year being a big year for him as well. I think that I don't think that, as you're kind of illustrating here with Kyle Pitts, I don't think that there's a world where he kind of gets a little bit better and he might earn himself an extension. He's either a top 5 tight end in the NFL this offseason, or he completely underperforms and only has 600 yards again. I don't think there's any. He's the type of player that there is no in between. I don't
you're right.
see that.
I think you're right.
At least 900 yards or more and ends up being one of the best tight ends in the NFL. There's only one way this goes.
To get to that spot, he needs a good quarterback, which I believe now he has, and he also needs to eliminate the goofy shit. And the goofy shit being, he should have had a touchdown called back last year because he didn't run through the goal line with it, and it almost got punched out. And because they didn't have a good camera angle, a definitive camera angle to overturn the play, they upheld it. And he also coughed up a ball on the 2-yard line that he desperately did not need to. He bobbled it into a defender's hands. He's a sure-handed tight end. Be that. Don't put the ball on the ground, and you will see the end zone more. But there were a couple times where I think he proved himself to be a little untrustworthy for Kirk, and I understand it as well. So he needs to take a personal leap while the rest of the offense, and I'd say the coaching staff is trying to make similar parallel leaps.
Before we get to the next guy that wasn't at OTAs, shout out to Danny Diaz, who gave us a super chat. He says, "Hey, Sean, I just tore my ACL playing church league softball think ATL will give me a massive 3-year deal.
What position were you playing, Danny, or were you batting? It was probably
softball.
He was
Church
probably
League
rounding
softball.
first. He probably smoked one. I'm gonna give the D man.
There's not enough change of direction going on with running a first, man.
I'm telling you, I think
you're gonna air Danny out that bad. You think that he couldn't round first?
I'm trying to think. I've seen a guy tear his plantar fascia playing softball in the outfield. Because
the outfield's the one I would guess where you think the ball's going one way and you plant and you try to cut too quickly, and
here's the thing:
big bodies that haven't been moving for very long or aren't ready to move like that.
Here's the thing with softball: he might have a double base situation, whereas if you played baseball, it's just one base. Softball, I think he thought he had a single, tried to stretch it into a double, and took a hard cut.
There's no cutting with that.
You're supposed to round first. I think he ran through first and made a last second.
You think it was a plant and go?
I think it was a plant and go, and then pop-a-roo.
Okay, here's my number one thing with adults doing adult league activities.
Mm-hmm.
Know what you're capable of doing. Danny,
smart.
I'm not trying to accuse you of not being in shape, but I feel like a lot of these injuries come from people thinking that they're Jose Altuve rounding first base and they're going to take second.
That's me, by the way. That's how
I
I
think
operate.
that you're Jose Altuve, 5'6" Jose Altuve.
You know how many times I've thrown on my arm on a softball field? Just because I like playing the outfield. I have no business playing the outfield. But one, I don't want to get smoked at first by a hard liner, have my day ruined. I like the outfield. I got time, and then I can go and track a ball, and if it drops, which it often does because I'm so slow, I can just unleash my cannon arm. And because I'm not playing on a baseball field, it's 200 feet to pull up from home to left field, home to right field pole. That's easy money. And I'm just throwing it right to the.
Have you done the adult league softball?
I never like in an official league with the cornballs, but I had about 20 people in Mount Vernon that, after college that I knew
Kept inviting you.
If everybody was off work at like 5 or 6 in the summer, we'd go to a softball field and just absolutely. And we would rip softball for like 3 hours.
Danny was going from second to
exactly.
third.
Yeah, you smoked one. You tried to stretch it, and you rounded. I bet he rounded late. I bet he didn't take a nice wide turn going to third.
Everybody, make sure you're in shape before you try to round second. That's
not
all
even
I'm
that.
say.
Here's what I'll say.
All I'm gonna say.
Don't round second.
Just stop. Well, stop as abruptly and aggressively as you possibly can. I think that's better.
Here are the rules for if you can round
Don't
second
tear
in
your
softball.
ACL. Tear your Achilles instead by planting as hard as you can.
Here are the rules for if you should round second in your adult softball league. You have to be able to run 3 miles straight as an adult.
Oh man, there's not a lot that can do that.
Then there's not a lot that should be rounding second.
Why is that the indicator though?
Because
that's stamina. That's not
because if you
short area quickness.
Because you're not in shape and you don't have the leg muscles. You need the muscles and the conditioning to make up for when your weak old joints give out. But you have strong thighs and hamstrings and glutes and calves maybe that can make up for it. You need to be able to run 3. I'd say you've also done. I don't know what footwork adults are doing to be able to round third. You have to be a very active individual. I'd say working out 4 times a week.
Yeah, you should just stay at first. Run through first, stay at first, even if you hit the ball. Like nobody knows what to do with the ball and they're just dicking around in the outfield. Stay at first.
Also,
just run to first, stay at first. Just don't run past. Don't think that you can
slide into second.
No.
A good
no.
slide gets the people fired up.
No.
What are you? Why am I getting a no? This is my avenue.
Avenue?
Yeah.
Avenue.
This is my avenue.
That's the way you said that. There is no way that most adults over the age of 27, let's say, know how to slide. Without taking themselves out or taking whoever's standing on second out and destroying their ankle, there's no shot.
You go head first slide in the dirt. You get a little dirt on you. You're having a good day.
Absolutely not.
Is that you? You wouldn't slide?
No, I don't know how to slide. I haven't slid since
nice and
middle
safe.
school. No, there's
hands out, you Superman.
Not knowing how to slide would result in a larger injury
Joe,
than not sliding.
These ain't MLB fields where you're going to slide and you're going to be rocketed into second base because it's so manicured. These are cruddy adult league fields,
That's
and you're
the
just going
point.
you're just going to slide a little bit and stop.
You're going to eat shit. Your mouth is going to go into the bag. And if you don't slide head first, you're going to completely demolish and clip some poor soul's ankles.
This is how I know we played a different version of football,
35-year-old woman is going to get blasted in the ankles. No, we played the same version of football.
We played a different
I've been around
version of
enough
football.
unathletic people to know that most people don't know how to slide into a base.
Apparently, Danny Diaz runs 5 miles every morning. It's a lie.
Do you know Danny?
No, but I know he's lying. Because
come on, man.
No one runs 5. No one's running 5 miles a morning, Danny. You're just not. So I think you might run 5 times a week. You might do that.
I give Danny the benefit of the doubt here. Danny, I apologize, but for the rest of our adults that think that they can round second into third, stop at first base. You're not going any further than that.
Hey, Danny, you know what? Be happy right now. You found yourself a Rube and a Mark.
Okay.
But he said, I got too prideful. Jesus needed to hand it to me.
All right, we got to get back to football. We were supposed to be talking about football. Thank you for the super chat, though, Danny. Appreciate it. James Cook isn't the other offensive weapon. Oh, I messed that up. Kyle Pitts isn't the only other offensive weapon that is fighting for top money at his position. Bills running back James Cook, he has been extremely vocal about this. He is not showing up to OTAs. He went as far as to publicly state on social media that he wants $15 million. That will put him up in the range of what Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey are making. He is, notably though, over the past 2 seasons, had over 1,200 scrimmage yards. You have gone as far as to say that you believe that he could have had more touchdowns if his quarterback wasn't so selfish, and we're not going to rehash that. The comments on that video on the YouTube are fantastic.
Oh, am I getting carved?
Yeah, they're like, who the F is this guy? What is he talking about? You don't know anything about football.
Josh Allen ain't going to slurp you, bro. Okay, so why don't you stop slurping him? James Cook could have had 25 touchdowns last year.
On that note, is James Cook worth top running back money? Because there's no in between here. We talked about this with Kyron.
Yeah.
His production has been tremendous. He's obviously not the biggest piece to their offensive success. One could argue that without James Cook, they could find some success with Ray Davis if they really wanted to. But what do you think of James Cook and the contract he's seeking?
I think it's too much for James Cook because while I disagree with a lot of your stance on Josh Allen versus James Cook, the rushing offense of Buffalo runs through Josh Allen. It just does. It's about him scrambling for extra yards. It's about him in short yardage situations. And James Cook, the lead running back on that team, is the change of pace back. And that's unfortunate. But there's going to be another James Cook. He is not uber special for $15 million a year. I hope he gets paid. I love running backs. I love the way James Cook runs. He runs harder than hell. And he takes over a game. He won. James Cook had that primetime factor last year where maybe it was a Sunday night and a Thursday night or a Sunday night and a Monday night. There were a couple games where he was playing late and he just took over. And I think it took a lot of weight off of Josh Allen's shoulders having a reliable running option back there. But the Bills are savvy enough, and they haven't shown to me that they are bad at finding running backs where they could find another James Cook. I think James Cook can settle into the $12 million reasonable running back price tag. I know we're seeing a renaissance in the running back contracts because we're seeing the value come back to running backs, but it's not happening that quickly. It just isn't. The league won't let it happen that quickly. It's still a wear and tear position. $15 million is too much for James Cook to be asking for, even though I support it.
I think James Cook is a good running back. I think he's one of the better running backs in the NFL. But to put him into that upper category as a top 5 highest paid running back in the NFL, he's basically asking for like truly premier money. He didn't even lead running backs on his team last year in receiving yards. Ty Johnson was the top receiving running back on the team. Not by much. He had 284.
He's a selfish bastard too. God damn.
He had 284. James Cook had 258. So he's not really as productive as a receiver. James Cook, his career high for receiving yards was in 2023 where he had 445 yards. So he's shown an ability to do it, but this is not like an all-purpose scrimmage dominator. He has been a guy that has fought for extra yards. He has been scrappy. He has been a good player. He's done everything that has been asked of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. I'm not paying him top running back money. Like, he deserves to make what we were talking about with Kyron. Kyron making $12 million a year for being a kick-ass player who's been more productive than James Cook over the last 2 years and has played less games than James Cook. I don't understand where he's getting $15 million from. Like, why does he think that he deserves that?
He's just not somebody. He's also not somebody that you really think about that much. And that's tough to say, but
it sucks for him because everyone's thinking about
he gets
Josh
dwarfed
Allen,
by Josh Allen and the other running backs in the league. Like, he's not a top 10 running back. And I don't know if he's a top 15, like, impact name brand running back, which doesn't matter as much to me, but it kind of matters to the fans and it kind of matters to the front office. And I think they weigh those things pretty heavily. While James Cook is great, and you're going to have 4 to 10 Bills fans that have that sign at a game, but they're all wearing 17. They're all wearing a different number than James Cook because he's a running back.
Yeah.
And the star player on that team, the most important player, also runs the ball like a bat out of hell. So he's just up against it. If he was on a different team, if he was on the Packers behind Jordan Love, I'd have a way different tone because Jordan Love isn't running the rock like that. And he have a more pronounced role. I get
what you're saying, but I don't think we need to like dig that deep to make the argument. Here is the important context of it. Well, because that argument doesn't even really work because Josh Jacobs is making 12. So he would be earning, he has earned himself a Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones level contract.
That's fair. That's his level.
We already did this with the Kyron deal when we broke this down. Running back contracts are so different than any other position. We talk about quarterbacks, we talk about receivers, offensive linemen. There's like a slow, gradual scale where it's like this guy makes this much compared to this guy, and it's like a $1 million separation. It goes Saquon at 20.6, it goes Christian McCaffrey at 19, it goes Derrick Henry at 15, Jonathan Taylor at 14, and then we drop all the way down to 12.25 with Alvin Kamara, down to 12 with Josh Jacobs, 10 with Aaron Jones, and then after that, everybody makes less than $10 million. There are guys on here that have been just as productive as James Cook that are not making nearly as much money. David Montgomery has been incredibly productive and has been somebody that has been important for their team's success, who's splitting a role for the whole argument that you were just using. Joe Mixon, he's 29 years old, but he's still earned that right because he's been super productive in his career. And Kamara absolutely has earned it. And this is kind of like, felt like that's more of a contract, him making this money to this point of just, he's earned the right at the age of 30.
It's a lifetime achievement.
Right. Award. A lifetime achievement thing. I say all this to say, you only make 15 if you're comparable to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry might be 31 years old, but you're not as impactful for your team's success as Derrick Henry has been. On 2 different teams, he's proven that he is a driving force for a team's success for the production that he's put up and the way that he has impacted specific games. Jonathan Taylor is your next closest comparison point, and I would argue even an inconsistently available Jonathan Taylor has been more impactful than James Cook. So no, he deserves to make Josh Jacobs level of money, nothing more. If Josh Jacobs makes that as what he got as a free agent, commanded in the market, you do not deserve to make more than him.
Hey, he can hold out, though. It's never gone poorly for running backs that hold out.
This is the stupid.
Hey, James
I hope
Cook,
the Bills just trade him if it does turn into this.
Call up Le'Veon. Ask him if he wishes he had held out, gotten a little doughy.
Well, Saquon didn't hold out, but like him,
that's Saquon.
Looking elsewhere.
Hey, that's Saquon.
That's true.
All right, did it work out from Maurice Jones-Drew? Maurice Jones-Drew was a premier running back, but it did not work out.
It was a different era, though.
And they were still, but that's even when they were cherishing the running back position and paying him. This is different. James Cook, you're not going to also be noticed if you're gone in OTAs. You, as a running back, you go to OTAs to stay in shape and make sure the coaches remember who you are. Anybody in OTAs can step in and do the running back shit. It's drills, and the most important thing you're going to learn is pass protection language. Other than that, you can pick everything else up in training camp. So you should go so they don't forget about you. Because when these rookies go, they're going to be doing the same stuff that you do. And you're not going to be able to flash your shine because you're not fully padded up and you're just doing drills. So you have to stay in front of them.
Did you see Frank Gore Jr.'s signed card? You did.
It's magical.
It was just FGR. No, it was FGJ that was on
Yes.
He just wrote it in a marker, FG.
That is an autograph I would pay for. I'm not kidding.
I'm serious. I was thinking the same thing. I want that autograph.
I'm not a huge athlete autograph guy.
Neither am I.
I know a bunch of people get really swept up into it. It's not my scene. That autograph is important to me. That Frank Gore Jr. autograph, it means something to me.
Knowing his father, I don't know what Frank Gore Sr.'s his signature was, his autograph was. It makes me happy knowing that there's been some sort of a personality was passed on.
Yeah,
you could tell just based on that signature.
Yes, it's sometimes
more athletes doing that shit. That's
sometimes
awesome.
You got your mom's eyes. Sometimes you got your dad's nose. Sometimes you're a clone, direct replica of your dad, and you do crazy stuff like this, like not in cursive, but manual text script. Your initials.
It was a very refined, detailed lettering. Like he's got pretty good handwriting.
The NFL
it's not like it was like some childish, like fifth grader, this dude didn't know how to write. No, he put a lot of time into that. But there was no cursive.
The NFLPA gets beat up a lot, and they also get praised a lot because they've taken great strides into making sure that football players are better taken care of after the game, and we don't have a bunch of guys with CTE roaming around the streets drinking paint. Like, they've made great strides. Here's what I'll say. If you are an NFL player and you got your son into the NFL, you should be entitled to more compensation from the league. They should take care of you even more.
Sure.
Because you are constantly impacting the legacy of the league. You are keeping them alive. And especially if you have name recognition like Frank Gore, he should just be able to live off the NFL as a sub-institution because he ruled so hard and his kid rules so hard. You need to protect these guys. Make it a true fraternity.
Maybe he'll take James Cook his carries. Maybe that'll happen, and then we'll have something to root for.
I bet he gets in that end zone. I bet he gets in it.
What, he's going to steal the ball from? He's going to take the ball away from?
I hope Oh no, it's a rich vein here. Here's the play. Frank Gore, Josh Allen quarterback sneak. Just kidding. Frank Gore comes up and punches him in the back of the head and gets the ball and takes it in. Yeah, that's my new play.
Real great strategy.
It's the Puncherooski. You like it? Hey, Andy Reid, say that 1,000 times in a commercial. Go ahead. He's fine. I shouldn't pick on Andy Reid. I think he's probably the most likable State Farm athlete in a while. Caitlin Clark did a good
he's kind of trying to. I don't hate those commercials are so bad. Whoever is the marketing person in charge of creating State Farm ads is a piece of shit.
Oh, they're not even close to T-Mobile. T-Mobile's is 1,000
times because they take these athletes and they make them say just like the worst, most unfunny jokes. And no advertisement should try to be funny. They just shouldn't. Just give me my information, man. Just give me the information. Tell me what I need
fries in the bag?
to know. Yeah, put the fries in the bag. I don't need this shit. All right, Sean, we got to talk about this. What's been trending on Twitter. We've been getting a lot of good, hilarious tidbits on Twitter the past month. Yeah. Oh, this is probably one of the best off seasons we've had for funny stories. So at Globes with 2 S's on Twitter tweeted, "Girl just told me she ghosted me because I got too drunk and rode the mechanical bull 3 times on our first date." He later tweeted after somebody quote tweeted and asked, "How long did you last?" He said, "My name is on the wall." This guy rocks. This guy rocks.
Oh, that rule.
This is awesome. Too bad that this poor, dumb woman didn't realize that this is the coolest man on the planet. This is what she didn't understand. She didn't understand the masculinity that goes into riding one of these bulls. Have you ridden one of these before?
I have.
Every man
it's hard as hell
dreams of going up onto that bull and to just outlast the thing and to be the champion of the bar of the night. This man did it 3 times. He went up there 3 times. We don't know for sure how long he lasted, but he had the balls to go up there and test those limits 3 times. Sean, I don't know how anyone could ghost a man like this. This guy is awesome. And I think he deserves to have as many beers bought for him as people have probably been sending him Venmos.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal to get on that bull in the first place. There's a classic internet video. Oh, thank you to Jared Salucci, new sub. Thank you very much. It is a big deal to be able to get on that mechanical bull in a bar because it's intimidating. It's scary. I did it at a live event one time. and I fell off in like 4 seconds, maybe.
Oh.
Super embarrassing. Really, really tough scene. So if you could stay on, props to you. Here's what you got to do. You got to get close to the act. You got to get all up on the bull. Everyone wants to sit where the saddle is. You got to get right up on the ropes, and you got to hold the ropes right up on your balls. And so because it's all weight and
I feel
physics.
like you're definitely not meant for. Actually,
Dude,
no. I guess
I got
more weight would probably be better.
I got
A lot of
tossed
bull riders are big dudes.
in 4 seconds.
Really?
No, bull riders are tremendous athletes. They're cut.
but
It's
they're
core,
still big though.
not really. It's core strength, man. You have to have the
Oh, well,
core
you don't know
strength.
any of that.
No, it's like paddleboard. It's like doing the what is it? Paddleboarding, where you do the stand up and you.
Sure.
Doesn't sound right, but it might be. But yeah, it's like if you can't stand upright on this big inflated board in the water, it means your core is too weak. And that's why I was always falling off. And my sisters, who were like working core all the time, they were like doing tricks on it because it's similar to the bulls.
We're talking about bull riding.
So these guys got great core strength. And the reason I fell off is poor core strength. This dude is probably
Got abs of steel.
not even, this dude would probably have, and this is going to sound like some meat riding. He probably would have not rocked the world.
Let's meet ride him.
Yeah.
Let's meet ride him.
He probably would have given a real good bang afterwards.
He needs some meat riding. He
if
deserves some meat riding.
If he could have stayed on that bull, had that concentration, and kept going back for more rounds,
yeah,
how's that not turn you on as a woman? How is that?
exactly. He's gonna have the energy for later. He
You're-
must have done something else.
He's shown. Well, he got too drunk. He's shown you that he's not. It wouldn't
See,
surprise me
that's what the real thing should have been.
that he got too drunk and said, "You can't ride that bull. You can't ride. I'm the bull rider." Like if he did that for
So
2
you-
hours, that's ghost mode. But if he was able to go
I
up
think-
there,
Actually, I would argue that might make the bit even better. It might have made the night even better if he was going around talking. Just got so drunk he was pointing at people and
Yeah.
talking shit.
now I'm not saying I'm not rooting for that, but I am saying that he probably made a jackass out of himself, either going up to the bull on the first couple times
Mhm.
or after when he was victorious. He shouldn't have gotten ghosted though.
I saw someone had tweeted that this guy and that girl that went on the date and ordered the 48 oysters, they need to go on a date together. I completely disagree. The 48 oyster thing is gross and also incredibly greedy.
Oh,
just
that's hot.
to if you what
I don't want
to
to
not talk about this.
I think we did.
We're
but-
talking about a girl ordering knowing that you're paying.
Mhm.
48 oysters.
Yeah.
48 oysters.
Get your fill, don't be
just sitting
shy.
They're slurping them up in front of you.
Oh, that's hot. What are you talking about?
You haven't gotten laid in so long.
girl
man.
that- no. The girls that do the
very
same-
different tone when we talked about this the first time.
Maybe I was broker then, but which would have been that's
I don't
probably
know.
not possible.
Yeah, I don't know how that's possible.
But Joe, there's something irritating about going on a date with a girl and she orders an entree, she eats half the thing because she wants to look and feel dainty. There's
you get
something
free food in that situation, by the way.
huh?
You get free food in that situation.
But here's the thing. I'm trying to look
Oh, you're
sexy
not-
and
you're not-
dainty
you're-
too. So I'm not going to start on a
Screw
first
that.
date mall. I want a
Are
girl
you
that's
done
coming
eating
up
that?
with
Can
an
I get that?
appetite.
Can I get that? Are you gonna finish that?
No, a girl that's not afraid to freaking just eat whatever. Eat her whole meal. Go
That's-
ahead. That's
that's-
nice.
But that's fine though. We're talking about ordering like $100 worth of oysters.
you were hungry tonight, baby. Oh, go ahead. I'll take care of it.
48 oysters isn't even something that's like you can sit there. 48 of
You
them?
could do 48.
I could do them, but who thinks I'm on this date? I need to
Oh.
order 48 of these. No, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get my money's worth because this poor asshole. Like it's disrespectful.
That's
to
the
do that.
game. Sure, it's
This is why I don't. This is
disrespectful.
why I don't do dinner first dates. Why I
Sure.
would never do them because I never want to step into these situations.
That's the game, brother. They got what you want, and they know it, and they should be able to use it. All these dudes are out here like, oh, it's unfair. It's unfair. Shut up. You got it easier. You got the donger. You don't get PMS. You don't get menopause. You could sire a kid into your 70s.
Stop being a fake feminist.
I'm not. I'm calling out these dudes that are crybaby betas about picking up a meal for a lady and then going on an incel Reddit thread and talk about chivalry being dead. Sack up and use your wallet.
There's a difference between paying for a date
Mhm.
and going on a date and somebody running up a tab. Like ordering a bunch of shit
Have you ever ran up a tab
on
before?
on a date.
Yeah,
I have not. So
it's fun.
you've done it
I have.
on somebody else was paying.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You went on a date. You knew that a girl was paying.
Yeah. We were going to like a grocery store. I guess she had her dad's credit card, and it was one of those you go and you kind of, early college, late high school stuff. And she had her dad's card. And
Wait, were you already in a relationship?
Yeah.
Oh, this doesn't count.
But no, this counts
It's not a
because
first date.
normally people would go and they get like, I don't know, half a pound of food. They'd nibble on it. They'd leave the grocery store. I loaded up one big tray and a tray for home. And I took a tray from home after also.
Yeah, but
That's
you knew
a big
the
winner.
dad, though. You knew the dad.
Not that well. It
Uh,
was pretty early on. And I said, I'm going to make them pay.
Well, you're a piece of garbage for doing that. That's a little bit of a.
I don't
rough-
think anybody getting a good meal out of a date is a bad thing. Go ahead, eat your 48 oysters.
I think that when you're like in the early stages of, or especially a first date, you need to have a little bit of an understanding of like
like decorum, like social
the core,
expectations,
like,
all that.
just like the
You're
like
not wrong.
social
That's not
construct
wrong.
of like, hey, like I shouldn't just be. If you show up and you order the most expensive things possible, like automatic red flag, because that means you don't respect me. It probably means you're just here for dinner.
I'd agree. Like if you look at the wine list and
You're
you're
trying
like,
to
oh,
test
let's
me.
yeah, that's fine. I get like that. That's not socially acceptable. But if you're going to sit in front of me, Joe, and you're going to commit to eating 48 oysters in front of me, I'm going to enjoy that because I'm sitting here saying, look at this. I had my meal. I'm full. Lady's over there. She's getting full after her third tray of oysters. Oh, one more, baby. Go ahead. Bring it down. Why not?
I don't
I'm
think
enjoying
I
it.
think you would be mortified if somebody did that.
No, I'd be fine.
I'd find that hard to believe. This sparked, Sean. I asked you to if we could come up with some of our worst first date stories. Nothing as comical as the bull rider. Here's what I had, and we're talking of frugality.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
So
you want to lead this?
I went. Yeah.
Please.
I went on when I first moved to LA. I had one spot that I would take every single date that I had for drinks.
Smart.
Matched with this one girl on Hinge. Couldn't really see her very clearly in the profile. Off to a bad start. Invited her to this typical spot, but she says she doesn't drink at all. So I'm thinking like, okay, shit, I've never entered this territory before. What do I do in this situation?
Buy her 48 oysters.
No,
She
no.
don't drink.
I said, all right, why don't we do dinner? First time I ever did the dinner date thing, mistake already immediately made me realize I should never do this going forward. I then allowed her to suggest, why don't we also go see the new Batman movie, the incredibly long Robert Pattinson Batman movie?
Incredibly long, sad, dark, and sometimes
Yeah,
boring.
it was 3 hours.
Yeah. Familiar.
So I'm like, yeah, sure. I really want to go see it. This sounds like a great plan. She shows up. She's like at least 50 pounds heavier than she looked in.
Bang!
She was off to a bad start.
It's SOP.
Orders I understood why she was 50 pounds heavier than her original pictures because she ordered a lot of food. It wasn't anything that expensive that I was upset by it. I was mostly pissed off that she didn't look anything like her pictures. And I had to endure another 3.5 hours with her. I was sick of being there after the first hour. I'm like, you are boring as shit. You ordered a whole bunch of food, and you don't look anything like you did in your profile, like when we set up this conversation.
Were you like leaning over, bumping her milk duds off the thing? Hey, that's Zoe Kravitz. Hey.
No, I wasn't. I was dead silent. But I made sure.
You're an awful date.
I
What
made
are you
sure.
talking about?
I made sure. No, I was very
You're an
social and
awful
friendly.
date.
Hold on. Stop for a second. I was very social and friendly, but I wasn't like being flirty or anything. Because the minute that I realized that this is not going anywhere, I will be friendly to this person. I will be nice, and we will get through it. But the one thing that I made sure to do. The thing that I made sure to do is I made her pay for the movie.
Oh my god!
I made sure to admit that she was the one who paid for it. I forget what I said, but I made sure I wasn't paying for that damn movie after I paid like $150 for dinner. She didn't order drinks and it was $150.
You're the cheapest person on this planet. Wait, hold on. How nice was this dinner? $150.
It was this. I don't think
I'm
I
not,
ever
trying
took
to
you there.
I'm not trying to grill you.
It was a Mexican spot by my apartment that was like
we would have
on
had more fun at that movie if we did go together.
It was on the nicer side of a Mexican spot. And it was one of those places that when you ordered tacos, it was like one taco. And I think the tacos were like
Was it like
$10 to
$4.60?
$15 for like one taco.
What?
Yeah, it was an expensive spot in LA. Like kind of like not that expensive.
You know
but,
what? You're too
but
dumb to
you-
be
but
cheap, and then your cheapness runs in once your dumbness takes
ordered, like,
effect. $10 tacos.
She ordered
This is
like
your fault.
6 of them though, which was the problem.
Yeah, eat them up. Go ahead. 6 tacos, baby. Go ahead. Something about a woman with
You
an
would
appetite.
not
I got
have
you.
had the same thoughts if you were in my situation.
Oh,
You would not
I
have.
wouldn't have been sitting there silent in the movie. You're getting something going.
There was nothing to get going.
Oh, did you see Zoe Kravitz in the film?
Okay, I might have been worked up, but it doesn't mean I was
Oh, yeah. You know,
anything to do. I was in the movie with.
Oh, I had a bad line.
What?
Bad.
What? Go ahead.
I don't even flesh it out.
Okay.
Can I give you the bones?
Yeah.
I was working towards in theater hot dog situation or in movie mid movie hot. Hey,
This is the most unworked.
I told you
through-
the bones are there.
Was that it?
I don't know. Dennis Falcone. You want to touch my Dennis Falboni? How about that?
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Batman in movie sex jokes. I'm sorry. I'm on the spot.
Okay,
here.
you already told us the mono story.
Well, that was a first date. That was pretty rough.
Okay, what was the other one?
Went to get margaritas with a hinge match, and I guess it went well. Went back to my spot afterwards. That was nice. It was a good dinner.
It was
Fine.
just margaritas. There was no dinner.
No. My spot
Smart.
is I found a spot where they made a very nice margarita on a top
This
floor.
is what the spot was. This was the spot. It was the same concept where really, really nice, good margaritas, best spicy margarita. It was in my
they're
Hinge
great.
profile,
Yeah.
and it worked. There's so many girls would message me.
Such
You
a
have
hack.
to take me.
You're
You have to take me,
Hey.
and I would take them. But okay, where were you going with this?
What was that awful Ryan Gosling movie where he was a stunt man? And I think it might have had like Elizabeth Holmes in it or Elizabeth Olsen or whatever.
You're naming a whole
All
bunch
they
of
did
people.
was talk about spicy margs in the movie, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Who the fuck is this for?" And it's
You don't like
you.
spicy margs?
I love spicy margs, but spicy marg culture is abysmal
How
because
can
it's
you say that you
'cause
like
it's-
spicy
it's-
margs,
it's-
but you don't?
it's just fake culture. It's awful. It's bad. It's
Okay,
bad.
what-
Anyone
what
that say,
was
"Oh,
it?
I love spicy margs," say, "Let's go get spicy margs."
Was it the ice or the door?
That one sounded most like the door that I've ever heard. But
Okay,
I think it was
continue
the ice.
saying.
Yeah. So we're out getting margaritas. I'm like, food's not that good here. Let's just get some drinks. And all right, get some drinks. Go back to my spot. Kid's about to get lucky. Doing good. But in my old place, we had an intercom system in every room,
Oh, no.
and every room was connected. We had volume up. We could talk to each other. It was fine. And I was like showing her my room, like, "Oh, hey, look at this." My whole house was home also. And she's like, "Oh, cool. Let me just." She did a mic test. Hello. And she clicks it. She's like, "Hey, okay." And then people are like, "Hey, who's talking?" Bang. It was good banter. She doesn't stop using it. And like throughout the night, it was a bit of it was a good night for me, but it was a long night. If you're catching my drift here. So about every 30 to 45, she would go up and crack a joke into the intercom until about like 1 a.m. And the bit stopped being funny after like check-in number 2. And that went on for a little bit too long. And the next day, I think she left pretty early, but I did a walk of shame back down into my living room because it was rather cringe.
Why didn't you stop her? The second time I'd be like, "Hey, you got to knock it off."
Hey, remember when I was telling you about the time where I was laid back on my knees looking up at the sky? Yeah, that was that night. So I wasn't really getting up out of the bed to go exert much energy. I was in a marathon. I wasn't going to sit there and say, "Hey, get off that."
Okay, first of all, no social awareness on her part. Awful.
First time she may have met my roommates for 5 seconds.
Did you ever have her back over again after that?
I did not.
Did you ever hang out with her again after that?
I did not.
Did you cut her off or did she cut you off
I did not reach back out.
after that? No. So none of that encounter was worth it?
I got the ick.
Oh, just from the intercom.
It kind of icked me.
See,
She was nice. She was kind of cute too. She was kind of cute. She was nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's
other
childish
other
level
stuff was
of-
fun. And then at the end, I'm like,
If you're doing that on a first date, could you imagine how
I-
weird and annoying that it would be at like 3 months in?
like high energy, like planning sorority girl, fine with me. Like I get that they have like their moments of snippiness, but it's fine. They're kind of locked in all the time. It was more like need attention. that is going to sour like old milk for me, like very quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's when you get the phone call in the middle of the workday, like, why aren't you texting me today? And it's like, hey, I'm getting my ass ripped apart in work right now. You're really pissing me off with this. Why did you call me? It's 4:30 and I've got another 3 hours left of work. I've had that happen. Okay.
Yeah, that was a rough first date.
Well,
I'd rather have my first date than your
I
first date.
wanted it something that you did that was uncomfortable.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. I first date I went on not too long ago. A waiter came back, was getting drinks at this nice kind of swanky cocktail bar in DC.
Okay.
And
God, it was voice crack. Go ahead.
And I'm sitting here like I'm starving. And I think I was drinking like whiskey sours or something. I was starving. And the waiter came by, or the bartender, whatever. The hybrid, bartender waiter is like, hey, do you guys want any food? I've been looking at the food menu the whole time. I look up and say, no, thank you, I'm good. And all I wanted to do was eat. And I kind of shortened the date by saying I didn't want food. I was enjoying the date. And I think she wanted food
that
too.
You pushed yourself out from getting food? Why didn't you get food?
I wasn't killing. I wasn't like in my zone. And I was like,
because you were hungry.
God. I think I was hungry and I'm like, oh God, if I start, stuffing my face in the middle of this, I'm never going to finish this awful, bad, boring story I've been telling. Over a paralyzation by over analyzation at its finest.
Was there a second date after this?
No, there was not. I still text her every now and then though.
Huh?
Yeah.
Why?
A little check-in, a little pop-in.
Why are you checking in with girls you went on one date with?
Huh?
What? Why?
Just in case. Just check it in. You never know. Hey, I'll tell you why I'm checking it after.
All right. I'll close out. Let's do Would You Rather as we always do on Tuesday. I've got Would You Rather this week.
Mm-hmm.
This one required a lot of very creative thinking on my part. Sean, would you rather every single time you're about to get laid? So impromptu, you can't plan for it. Every time that you are about to get laid, you have to do either do the full football conditioning test that we used to have to do in college.
Yeah.
Or 10 sets for 3 reps on heavy squats. So when I'm saying 10 by 3, I mean like you're loading up the weight. It is a hard 3 reps. You can't have sex until you're done with those 10 by 3 on squats.
Ooh. I didn't know you were capable of putting together such a devious Would You Rather, Joseph. This is a good one. I'm going with the squats. I have to go with the squats here.
You think your legs would be able to keep up?
No, they wouldn't. I'd be terrible after. But the condition, I'd at least have some form of a pump. And also, the squatting is like the best testosterone builder that of any of the weight exercises. So I think maybe that'd give me a little more.
You don't think
fired up.
10 sets wouldn't?
Joe,
I'd
be destroyed and I'd be wishing for sweet death before that sweet boy thing. And I'd want that, but I
instead it with a B that time, by the way. Said it with a B, which is pussy. I don't know what you've been on since you moved up to New Jersey.
I would rather do the squats because it's at least
before
some form
that sweet pussy.
No,
not you said pussy.
I tried. No,
you said
it got
pussy.
caught. It got caught in the lips are a little dry, so the puh sounded like a buh.
I wonder why they're dry. Been interacting with too much.
Wait, you want a French right now? You want to do that?
You've been interacting.
I'll kiss you right on the mouth right now. You keep on talking all this sexy talk.
You've been interacting too much with too much. Okay, whatever.
The conditioning test. Oh, Sean, don't you want to maybe lean out and flesh out your system beforehand? I'm going to be sweating more during the squats. Conditioning test. All I'm going to do, out of breath, red and puffy. The only pro is I'd already be shirtless and shortsless. I think one time I finished the conditioning test in just my underwear.
As most
so done for. And it feels good.
Imagine trying to have sex after doing that. You just be. I didn't add the stipulation if you're allowed to take a shower or not. Let's go off of the fact that you can't.
Yeah. Still, I'd rather do the squats because maybe I have some manly musk coming off of my big squat. I'm in the House of Gains in the Iron Factory, and I smell like weightlifting. The conditioning test. I smell like near tears. I smell like I have asthma.
There'd be some vomit.
Definitely. I look like I have asthma. And then also for the very white, and you know this if you're very white like me, You don't just get red immediately. You get blotchy, and then you get red. And when you start transforming back to normal, when your blood settles out, you get blotchy again, and then normal again. So you're going to be in bad shape skin condition wise. I'd be looking like a red alien for like an hour.
Like
I'm doing okay. I got some. Wait, hey,
I would.
Pasty Jones over there. What are you doing?
you
Get
call
some.
him
You
Pasty
sit on the
Jones?
roof every day, get no tan.
Yeah,
I went to Charlotte for 2 days, and I'm already a bronze god.
Bronze is not. How I would describe
Dude,
that.
I was like shedding all week last week at work, and then
That's
this week I still
disgusting.
have some going.
That's gross.
And one of my young ward at work came up to me and said, "Hey, Sean, man, you're peeling pretty bad." I'm like, "Oh God, it's already been a week. Like, let me get over this."
Everyone's noticing too. That's this
is like the first day I wore a t-shirt also.
What a little shithead coming up to you and saying that. It's like everyone's self-conscious when they're peeling.
I know. I'm disgusting. I'm literally shedding on the
Sean,
floor.
you look like shit.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, not to keep him around.
Appreciate it. Oh no, he's a good lad.
All right, let's close out. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod, 201-834-4308. Do we have any voicemails?
No, but we have hackbag questions that we will get to.
Wednesday,
I'll say this. Your boy Dean Gilberry, who decided to comment on Shamar Stewart, you got spared tonight because we're gonna get more hackbag questions. You're gonna get thrown by the wayside.
Wait, who's this? On Twitter?
He tweeted underneath the Shamar Stewart video, like 4.5 sacks in 3 years. You missed the whole point, jackass, and you got spared tonight because we were gonna carve into you.
Yeah, what a dipshit.
But you're a dipshit. And
wait, this is his pinned tweet. I'm here to share tips on how to build wealth through reasonable investing. Many Americans think you need a lot of cash to invest in the markets, and I want to contribute to changing that mindset. There are stocks I like short-term and long-term, but it's up to you to do your own research and make your own decisions. If you're looking for pumps and hype, I'm not your guy. Fuck you, Dean.
Hey, Dean, buy a 1-foot broom and sit on it. How about that? Invest in that company for idiots like you to sit on brooms.
All right. Later, everybody. We'll be back.
Yeah.